All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a question that, it affects pretty much all of us, right? Why is some code blazing fast and some other code just impossibly slow? It all comes down to this really elegant idea called algorithm efficiency.
You know this feeling. You tap an app on your phone and boom, it's instantly there. But then you open another one and you're just staring at that little spinning wheel for what feels like forever. It's super frustrating, right? Well, it turns out it's not some kind of dark magic, and it's not always because your phone is old.
So here's what's so wild. You can have two programs running on the exact same machine, and their performance can be night and day. One is a rocket ship, the other is just stuck in the mud. And the reason why isn't the programming language, it's not the hardware, it's the method, it's the recipe the code is following. And that recipe, that's what we call an algorithm.
Okay, so to really get the difference between a good recipe and, well, a bad one, we need to put on our detective hats. We're going to look at some code and do something that, look, it might seem a little tedious at first, I'll admit it, but it is absolutely essential. We're going to count every single step the computer has to take.
So let's start with something really, really simple. We've got this little function here, and all it does is take a list of numbers, an array, and it just adds them all up to get the total. It's the perfect, clean example for us to start digging into.
Okay, let's break this down. First up, we create that variable s. That's one step, simple. Then we get to this loop. Now this loop has to run once for every single number in our list, right? So let's just say there are n items in the list. That means the loop runs n times. And inside that loop, the addition, that also happens n times. And then, finally, we return the answer. That's one more step at the very end.
Now, if you really get into the nitty-gritty and count up all the tiny things the computer is doing inside that loop, checking the condition, grabbing the number, adding it, saving the new total, and bumping up the counter, you actually land on this formula right here, 5n plus 3. And this isn't just a guess, okay? This is a precise mathematical description of exactly how much work this little piece of code has to do for a list of size n.
Okay, so we could do this for every single algorithm out there. But honestly, counting every single tiny operation is exhausting. And more importantly, it kind of misses the forest for the trees. So it's time to zoom out. Let's look at the bigger picture here.
So let me ask you a really important question. What happens when our list gets huge? Let's say n is 1,000,000. Our formula, 5n plus 3, becomes 5,000,000 and 3. So in the grand scheme of 5,000,000 operations, do those extra 3 little steps at the start and end really matter? And what about that 5 out front? Does it really make a difference if it's 5 times n or, say, 2 times n when n is gigantic?
Just look at how these numbers grow. See, when n is small, like 10, that plus 3 is, well, it's a noticeable chunk of the total 53 steps. But when n hits 1,000,000, the result is completely dominated by that 5n part. The plus 3 becomes totally insignificant. It's just background noise. The real story, the thing we actually care about, is the relationship between n and the total number of steps.
And this brings us to what is maybe the single most important rule in all of algorithm analysis. When you want to understand how something performs at a massive scale, you learn to ignore the small stuff. You focus only on what's called the highest order term. That's the part of the formula with n in it that grows the absolute fastest. This idea is the core of something called asymptotic analysis.
So to talk about this stuff, computer scientists have this really powerful tool. It's called Big O notation. The best way to think about it is like a shorthand or a classification system. It's a way to stamp a label on an algorithm based on its growth rate, while completely ignoring all those little constants and smaller terms. It tells us, basically, the worst-case scenario for performance when our input gets really, really big.
And this graph here is the perfect way to visualize it. That squiggly red line, that's the actual, messy, real-world runtime of the algorithm. But that smooth black line, that's its big O. You see, big O gives us this clean upper bound. It's like a guarantee that says, hey, as your input n gets bigger, I promise you the runtime will never get worse than this curve.
Okay, so let's go back to our formula, 5n plus 3. If we apply the rules of big O, what do? First, we drop the constants, so goodbye plus 3. Then, we drop the coefficients, so see you later 5, and what are we left with? Just n. So we say that our little sum algorithm is order n, or just O of n. It means its runtime grows in a nice, straight, predictable line as its input gets bigger.
All right, now that we have this awesome new tool, Big O, We can actually start sorting algorithms into different speed tiers. Think of it like a leaderboard, from the ridiculously fast all the way down to the tragically, hopelessly slow.
Up at the very top, the absolute gold standard, we have O log n. Logarithmic time. These algorithms are incredibly fast. The best analogy is finding a name in a phone book. You don't start at A and read every single name, right? No, you open it to the middle, see if you need to go forward or backward, and you cut the problem in half, again and again. With these, you can double the input size, and the time it takes barely even budges. It's amazing.
Next up is of n, or linear time. This is our old friend from the sum example. This is good, solid, predictable performance. You double the input, you double the work. It's just like having to read every single page of a book. For a lot of jobs, this is perfectly fine.
Okay, now we're starting to get into the danger zone. This is O of n squared, or quadratic time. Here's the scary part. If you double the input size, the runtime doesn't double, it quadruples. Yikes. You usually see this when you have a loop running inside of another loop, where you have to check every single item against every other single item. These things get slow really fast.
And then there's the abyss. O to the n, exponential time. This is the stuff that gives programmers nightmares. We're talking about brute force solutions that just try every single possible combination. With these, the performance doesn't just grow, it explodes. It becomes fundamentally impossible to run for even pretty small inputs.
And this table right here, this tells the entire story. Just look at the row for 64 items. A fast algorithm? A few hundred steps, no problem. The slow, quadratic one? About 4,000 steps. Manageable, I guess. But the exponential one? It takes a number with 19 zeros. That is a number so big, it's more than the estimated number of grains of sand on the entire planet. It's not just slow. It is, for all practical purposes, impossible.
So why does any of this theory matter? Well, because understanding this stuff is what separates what's actually possible from what's flat out impossible. It's about making the right choice, the smart choice, before you even write a single line of code.
So here's what I want you to take away from all this. First, performance isn't just about raw speed on one computer. It's about being able to scale. Second, Big O is like our crystal ball. It lets us predict how our code is going to handle huge amounts of data. It lets us ignore the little details and focus on what really matters. And finally, choosing the right algorithm isn't just some minor optimization. It can be the difference between a product that works and one that's dead on arrival. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you're sitting there waiting for an app to load your contacts or sort your photos, you'll have a pretty good idea of what might be going on under the hood. It might not be your phone, it might just be a really, really inefficient algorithm at work. So, what kind do you think it is?